Okay, all right, we're back. Woof. All right, let's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Did we lose everybody? We're gonna start from the. We're gonna start from the. No, no good. You guys still. I'm still cutting out.
Oh no, you sound good right now.
I sound good right now. I know you're probably really tense, right? You're like, oh shit, I'm like squeezing your butt, thinking like, oh, one of these conversations. No.
Yeah, no good.
It went back.
I think Bernard's computer audio has COVID.
Let me. Okay. I'm gonna try one more thing. I thought maybe because I had Discord open on my. Okay.
Oh, we can't hear him.
You can't hear me? I've been having problems with my Wi-Fi router.
Maybe that.
I've been having problems with my Wi-Fi router. So,
you gotta close out all those porn tabs before you get on here.
I know.
It's just too much.
I know. The porn's just constantly streaming. Okay.
Or you could make the argument that he doesn't have enough open.
Yeah, maybe not enough. Can you guys hear me okay?
That's a good point.
But Sean, the April 13th show is at the Serhant House in Soho. Serhant.
Oh, okay.
It looks like a pretty fancy schmancy place. If you're interested to sell some original art there, whether it's NFT or physical out, I'll just shoot those guys a message to see if they can squeeze you in.
Okay, well, I'll think about it. I'm trying to lay low, actually.
Is everybody open to going to that? Because,
Is Bernard trying to say something?
You guys, am I still robotic?
Yeah, it's not gonna work, Bernard.
Man,
That's okay. The chat hears him, so maybe we'll just drop off. But he can give the rundown.
Something's eating up my bandwidth, right?
Is Bernard trying something different today?
No. Let me run my speed test. It's not giving me a good. It's not giving me a good. Well, my speed test is 200 something. I'm getting 250, 240 something. Can you guys hear that? I don't know, these guys are just waiting for me to say something. All right, well, can you hear me now? Still no good? Still no good? I hate these kind of streams where the technical is just horrible. Fuck it. Let's just start drawing. We can hear everybody on stream. Okay. Everybody can hear everybody. So let's just start drawing.
They'll talk about the red carpet in the movie though too.
Huh? Oh, hey. I thought what I had before was I had the Discord on the iPad, and that's why it was eating up the bandwidth. But so anyways, the rest of the it was a pre-party, so the party was before the screening. It was raining, so it was all covered in a tent. There were a bunch of food stations, some decent food, hot fried chicken. I think they had like a Philly something, because it was a South Philly station. They had some ice cream, open bar. There were a bunch of comic books around. We had a bunch of video games. There was like a kind of a arcade theme. You guys can hear the birds, right? And then
Birds talking.
what if you guys were to listen to the Twitch audio?
My Twitch is behind, like by like 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Holy
So
shit.
just so you know.
Okay.
But I'm listening to Twitch.
30 seconds. Wow. Okay, there's something in here that I can also do. Yojimbo, is there something on or somebody in chat? There is a settings that I can change the whatchamacallit, the delay. Right? Where is that? Where can I change the delay to like 0 second delay? Is that possible? I don't know. Anybody? You can change. Yeah. So Yojimbo, where can I change this? And maybe
I think actually I restarted the Twitch.
Yeah.
So I can hear it through Twitch. And it's pretty close now.
Okay.
To real time. But also if I have it loud enough, then you'll hear like the is it like the reverb, where it's like you hear like it'll start that kind of crazy feedback.
Okay.
So I'm going back and forth.
You should tell the other guys to there's also this new thing on Twitch where you can invite people to chat on Twitch, basically cutting out Discord. I haven't used it yet, but I don't know. Click the hamburger icon, then open the preferences down menu. Select stream latency mode. Stream latency mode. Low latency. Okay. Oh, I need to restart the stream in order to. The latency low is low latency, so it's already set on low. Settings, navigate to channel and videos. Channel and videos under stream key and preferences. Find the latency, set low latency. Yeah, it's already set low latency. Okay, well, this is kind of throwing off my vibe now. So, frustrating. Thanks, Jimbo. Well, then we had some good seats, and
got this.
We got some good seats in the street at the theater. We're up on the balcony, front row, AA, AA, right in the middle. So thank you, DC Comics, for those awesome seats. We got basically probably the best seats in the house because they're right in the middle, right up front. Nobody to obscure our view. There were a couple other DC creators there. Yeah, after the movie was done, then we didn't get notice of a post party, after party at Zach's house. We didn't get the invite, but it was fun. I mean, Courtney asked earlier. I've been to a few other premiere parties. I think they have. Again, I was mentioning the Man's Chinese Theater is usually the one. That's the big one. The other one is the theater that's right across the street from the Man's Chinese Theater, where they shoot the Jimmy Kimmel show. That one usually hosts, I forgot the name of it right now. Usually that one hosts a lot of Disney premieres. So a lot of it is based on studios. Like the Westwood one, I think I remember the Titanic was premiered there, as well as a bunch of other movies. So I think it depends a little bit on the studio, which one's available. And the movie comes out Friday, so usually premieres are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right before, so they can get all the pictures out. Yeah, that's about it. The other ones I went to was Family Guy at the Man's Chinese Theater. That's with Nicolas Cage and Tia Leone. That was a while ago when I first moved to L.A. Went to another one with Tommy Lee Edwards, The Book of Eli. That was at the Man's Chinese Theater. The after party for the Family Guy was, or Family Man. That was at there was a nightclub, dance club, Palladium, down the street. That one was fucking awesome. And then okay, let me see if we can figure out. Then the other one was at the Roosevelt Hotel right across the street from the Man's Chinese Theater for Book of Eli. Went to actually, I think the Linsanity premiere. Their after party was also at the Roosevelt Hotel. And then what are some other ones? I can't remember. I'm so frazzled today because of this technical difficulties. If you guys, you'll probably start seeing a lot of like images from the premiere out, and let's see, editorial, entertainment. If I pull up Getty Images, this is usually a lot of times I use this for reference. Let's see, where is this? Google. Here it is. Okay. So if you pull up Getty Images, editorial, and then /entertainment, you can do a search. You can find a lot of these. These are what the publicity shots that they use for, the films. When you have like these lineups, they come in off of the corner. There's actually also like a queue space where you have all these kind of celebrities lining up. They have their publicists there with them, and they hold out a sign with their name. So as they walk down this kind of long red carpet, open this up. You can kind of open this up there. So the photographers are lined up on one side, and the backdrop is a bunch of these movie posters and artwork. And then you have your main entertainment photographers. One of those guys, shout out to Al Ortega. He's a big comic book fan. You can see him at all the events, and he also goes to Comic-Cons. And He really gives a lot of the comic book artists a good amount of attention at those shows. So shout out to Al. And so they're taking pictures of all the celebrities that line up. They everybody has like 2 or 3 poses, right? People are yelling out their names, but the publicist also has their names out on a sheet of paper, so then the photographers can write down who is who when they're cataloging all the pictures that they're taking. And then you have the second and third stage of the red carpet, where you have the media, like the video producers, interviews, where the actors kind of stop and answer questions. Let me see this one. Yeah, so that's at the beginning of the queue. Let me see if I can pull this one up. And so you guys can kind of get what I'm talking about. This is the beginning of the queue space. And you can kind of see off to the right. There's a little archway. That's where they get dropped off from the limos, if they're coming in from the limo. Otherwise, you're entering from the inside. And kind of in the back, you can see there's some actors lining up. Where is the Chrome? There we go. They're lining up, and then a bunch of photographers. Usually the photographers are kind of held behind the gate, a fence. So we switch back. Get rid of the filters. And everybody's kind of all dressed to the nine. Right? You have these are the main cast, usually goes through first. This is so everybody has their poses. You got to figure out. You got a front, 3/4. What's your best angle? And then here's the big boss, James Gunn. You guys can see James Gunn. Pull him up. There he is. We saw him on the inside walking through, and he there's a Ace was joking around because he was walking super fast through the crowd, and you kind of have to, because everybody's going to stop and talk to him and shake his hand or get a picture with him, and so he just made a beeline to the red carpet, and he's with Jennifer Holland. Here's some other people that were at the screening. Various actors, some that are in the movie, but then also some that are not in the movie. So, and then obviously, like I don't think Stargirl was in. But you guys can look this up. A lot of times you see people with photos and it says has a little tag on the corner, Getty Images. This is what it is. Usually all the newspaper, magazines, websites, they'll get their official photographs from this. If you were to purchase this from Getty Images, the prices range from $175 to $500 for a high res. So magazines and newspapers, they have to pay, like you'll see on the little tag on the bottom of the pictures, AP Press or Getty, and this is how a lot of the photographers make money. There's a whole other kind of business component to these red carpets. Here are some other. We saw Helen Mirren, try to get a picture with her, but she had a bunch of people surrounding her, and again, once she was done talking, she was very fast to exit. So any event, there'll usually be a bunch of these Getty Images. Here's the boss. Let me see if we get the boss. Is he popping up? Nope, boss isn't popping up. Here's the boss. Let's see if we can show the boss. Shazam. Jim Lee. Here's the So that's Jim Lee, Pam Lifford, and Annie the Pies. Then we switch back to kind of these other guys are also still in the movie. Fun day. Free food, free drinks. They had little prizes, like little gifts you can take. Very exciting. The movie theater itself had a balcony. We're again on the balcony, first row in the balcony square in the middle. The stars would come in. Before the movie, Zach gave a little bit of a speech, introduced the rest of the cast, had the crew kind of stand up that were there, give applause. A lot of times too on these projects when I was at Disney, they would hold a separate cast and crew screening. A lot of times that's for because if you look at the credits, at the end of a movie, you got hundreds of people that have worked on this film, from assistants to grip to people that actually were at the locations shooting, but also you have a lot of special effects people. You have a lot of just kind of regular staff for the studios, finance people, people that make the budgets work. So there are, there's a good picture here. Let me see if I can open this up. You guys can get an idea of what the red carpets kind of look like. Is this Marta Lots? Okay. Yeah, so you have like a small fence to the right. You kind of see that. There's like the photographers there. And then they basically, here we're already at the video people. So the photographers are the first ones. Then the video guys come, and then you have the interviews with the different news stations, Hollywood reports or whatever, giving them interviews, asking them questions. You gotta have, again, like your 2 or 3 poses. Make sure you get your best angle. They take a ton of pictures, and only 1 or 2 really gets ever seen. So if you become the photographer that gets your picture plastered all over the newspaper, all over the ads. The articles. It's a good thing. Lucy Liu was also try to get a picture with the Cobra Kai kid. He was standing around. He was also with his girl who was also in Cobra Kai. So they're actually a couple in real life, I guess. I think. And then I guess, I don't really watch that much television, but Ace knew everybody. And then the girl in the red, if you watch DC, like Fandom, that's Tiffany Smith. She does a lot of the interviews for a lot of the comics related stuff, especially at Comic-Cons. So, fun stuff. the main kid that plays Shazam, he he's pretty old. I mean, he's pretty tall in real life too. Surprising, a lot of times when you meet actors, they're actually shorter than you might think they are. I mean, I'm not that tall myself, so I fit right in. But yeah. And they had when we sat down at the in the screening, they also had Skittles, a bottle of water, and free popcorn. So free Skittles, water, and popcorn. Skittles had like a small, I think, ad in the movie itself. I think it was early on. I remember the actors were talking about something about Skittles. So a lot of times I think the product placements really now. Part of that too, that started I think back in. If you guys ever watch E.T., I remember like movies prior to E.T. They were all like fake colas. If they're drinking sodas, it was all like kind of, with a fake label on it. But then E.T. had like it was either Pepsi or Coke. I don't remember which one, but they had the actual can. I was like, oh wow, that's cool. It made it kind of seem real for story purposes, but of course it was all because of the green hard cash. So I don't think Gal Gadot was there. I don't remember seeing her. Lucy was there. I didn't get the chance to say hello to her. She was like interviewing the whole time, and then when I did circle back around, she was gone. So I had met Lucy Liu before when she was shooting Charlie's Angels, and we had done. I was working on a project where we were doing some animated shorts, and actually got to meet her. She didn't like the version of her that I was drawing, and so I suggested to the company, to the studio. I said, well, I could draw much better in person. I'm getting these, publicity shots, and they're all at different angles with their mouth open, and I mean, they're great for publicity, but a lot of the stuff I need to draw from different angles. So I said, it'd be easier if I met her in person. And like a couple days later, they're like, sure, we're going to set up a meeting with you and Lucy at her home. So I got to go to her house. I got to go to her home and sit down and meet her and draw her for like an afternoon. Really cool person. And then we hung out a couple times. She came over. I was show her some comic book artwork. This was she actually lived really close to where I used to live in Studio City. These are from another premiere, I think, down in Miami now, back another post show. Okay, so anyways, all right. Sylvester Stallone, Tom Cruise, Mel Gibson. Oh, I didn't know Mel Gibson was that short. Yeah, he seems always taller in person. I know Sylvester Stallone is kind of around the same height, 5'7", 5'6". So Ace was out in LA on spring break. Just so happened to work out that it was spring break. Let's see if chat has any questions. Let's see. Oh, this is YouTube. Should have crashed the after party, but it was raining, so we ended up taking an Uber there. We got dropped off there, and then we ended up taking an Uber back. They had parking available for us, but when I went with Tommy to the Book of Eli, let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find Book of Eli. We got there fairly early. It was at the Man's Chinese Theater, and it was in 2014. So, 21 events. let's see, Book of Eli. Let me find this. Okay, let me see. This is up. Let's see, Book of Eli premiere. Sometimes they have different premieres. I know they had a London premiere for the Shazam movie like last week, and it feels like they've been premiering a lot of the movies early on. I think they're trying to combat a lot of times piracy. You know, a lot of the movies get pirated. So you find, at least I've noticed in recent years, a lot of movies will premiere overseas first before they do in the U.S. At the same time, I think they're trying to capture the global market. You know, we had a picture in front of this bike, Tommy and me. So we got there early, Tommy, and we drove there, and then I was like, we saw like there's a line for the limos, right? So we walked up to a limo that had just dropped off, you know, somebody. And I was like, hey, man, do you think if we tipped you a little bit, if you could, you know, drop us back off, like circle around? Because you have to have a pass to get into the limo line. So I think we tipped him, I don't know, like 20 or 40 bucks, 20 each. And he just drove around again and dropped us off at the celebrity entrance, right? So what happened was I got out first and I opened the door for Tommy. And the camera guys are right there ready to take pictures. And so they're all excited. The moment the door opens and Tommy gets out and they're like ready, and they're like, click, one click. And then we're like, hey, and I'm playing his publicist that night, so I'm like, that's Tommy Lee Edwards, the concept designer of the movie, visual development. He designed everything in the Book of Eli, and we got another couple clicks from that. I've never seen the Getty images for the film, so I don't know if Tommy got in it. We were very early on. There's also a separate fan section that, it's Dave Winfield. There's a separate fan section so that usually the celebrities kind of walk by there and high five and autograph stuff. So we got to do the whole thing where we, got to arrive in a limo, get dropped off, walk the red carpet. We snapped a few pictures of our own. Back then it was 2014, so what was that, like iPhone 2 or 3? So the pictures weren't like great. But then we hung out afterwards at the after party, and because Tommy got to meet Mila Kunis during the shooting, because he was out there for the actual shooting of the Book of Eli, we got to like sit and hang out with her a little bit. And again, free food, free drinks. And that was a post party, so after party to the film. And I think they had like a gift bag. I don't remember. A lot of these parties too, they have these gift bags that they give all the guests, and in the gift bags are like, sometimes there's some like pretty cool stuff. Because usually they're trying to get endorsements from various celebrities. So I don't think we made it to the Getty Images search. I'm scanning, and I don't see us. We got there too early too. So anyways, that's a wrap. Should I stay on and draw something or what? I don't know. I have a bunch of commissions I have to wrap up. I've got to work on some other projects. Starting a new mini-series this week it hasn't been announced, so I can't really show anything yet. But it should be a lot of fun working with a kind of a bucket list writer, someone whose work I've read since I was a kid. And these are always projects that eventually you get to a point where you just want to be able to collaborate with the writer or the creatives that have kind of really been such a big part of my fandom when I was a young kid. And so I guess these are it. They don't have any other pictures from the event. Yeah. Well, so I guess if I put Family Man, but that's a long time ago. No. 100 pages, forget it. Okay, that's like in the mid to late 90s, so I don't even think they have that stuff. Anything else from the chat? How was the movie? Movie was action-packed. If you like the first one, I think you'll like the second one. Golf Boy Sunday, thank you for resubbing 32 months. Have you ever worked on a movie or thought about it? Well, that's true too, Yojimbo, that they started cracking down on a lot of, I think that's why maybe they don't have the gift bags anymore, or because they used to have like these gift certificates in the gift bags for like free massages or facials, a lot of like beauty stuff. And ultimately they're like very expensive gifts, so people have to ultimately, and you have to pay taxes on them. So I don't know, maybe that stopped. I still have to finish inking the Spider-Man commission. I have been in a couple films. Let me see. I have to sketch up an Akira commission, so maybe I'll do some warm-up sketches. And let me see if I can get that up. I do have to do one with the bike, so let me see. So usually, like, you see a lot of Akira bikes. Akira bike. So again, before I start any kind of commission, I like to kind of look up some references just to get images in my head. Sometimes there's a lot of images or angles that have already been drawn before. And those are probably the easiest to hit up. But I like to, here's an interesting one that's kind of broken it down into particular shapes. Let me see if I can scrunch this back. This is interesting. It's a kind of a simplified breakdown of what the bike looks like. Sometimes you can get really lost in a lot of the details. But here you can kind of see that it's maybe like 2 or 3, 4 parts. The front, middle, there's 2 middle parts, and then there's a back part. Almost look like it's like a lizard with his arms out, almost. Here's another toy version. Okay. This is a cool kind of upshot where they have the camera kind of on the table. Some of these too, like you can see the discrepancy in some of these. I think this is a toy. You kind of look at the size of the human or the figure in comparison to the bike. This one looks like it's a little like the bike looks kind of small compared to the human. I don't know if they meant it that way. And then this one, of course, the bike is a little bit elongated. So sometimes, again, when you're looking at reference, you have to keep it with a grain of salt. This, I think, is the first one that we looked at earlier. Looks like it's a little bit more to scale, where the back of the bike kind of hits the back shoulder. If you look at this one, you know, this guy looks like looks like a giant riding on the bike. So I think it's important, especially when you're dealing with vehicles. This guy has his own Akira bike. Interesting. There's another Akira fan building their own bike. Here's an actual working one on the street. It's kind of weird because I think on one hand, I don't want the front wheel to be too small. A lot of times when you see these forced perspective, like this one here where it's riding, and that makes the front tire look kind of bigger because of the angle. But is the actual Kaneda bike in the movie? Let's see. What does it look like in the movie? If we're going to go off of this, is the basic kind of money shot everybody's seen. The bike is pretty big. I mean, the wheels are pretty big. They're about the size, much bigger than the torso of the human. It does fold up to allow entry into the cockpit. So we want to keep that in mind. But yeah, the front tires should be fairly big. I mean, if we're looking at the other pictures, let's see the real life versions, of course. Yeah, that one's kind of similar. Yeah, I guess. I just feel like these ones that some of the fans made, this one's a cooler version. This one looks pretty cool right here. That, of course, is not accurate, but it does look cool. And the real ones, I guess, in order to make them work, they have to use actual bike parts. So, but let's go back. Let's go back to the drawing. Where is? I don't want real life. Ready Player One. Interesting. Okay. Let's go back to Akira. Kaneda. That's a weird angle, interesting angle. Looks a little small there. Here, I guess the bike is dissected. I've never seen the Akira movie in a single sitting. I've read the comic book. Beef skeleton. I mean, the size of the human to the bike is, yeah, it's always because everyone's used to drawing people so much, right? And then you're kind of adding in the bike secondary. Like I noticed, like bikes, cars, tanks, vehicles. A lot of times people, I've never really seen a tank in real life, like up front. Never seen a fighter jet up front. And those things are massive. They're huge. A single fighter jet is like bigger than a bus at sometimes for one person, and you really lose a sense of scale until you actually see one in person. And so I think it's important to kind of keep that in mind when we're drawing. And right now, I would like to kind of sketch out. Let's see. Let me use my Clayton Henry brush. Get a nice size. Play with the opacity. I think it should be like a horizontal piece. If I do a horizontal piece, if I have the bike coming at us, it is kind of, it's an elongated bike, so let me see, here's another. This would be actually a really good episode to have Sean chat in on, since he's such a motorcycle expert. Maybe I'll save this for when when the audio hopefully magically gets better next stream. I don't know what I'm going to do. And right now, again, this is just I'm just sketching out kind of random poses that I think might be kind of cool. Here, maybe skidding for the side. The commission itself later on will be drawn on paper. So for now, I'm just kind of getting an idea of like what it might look like beforehand, as opposed to drawing on the paper, where you can very easily get locked up into something that might not be as good later on. Here I get to kind of play with different possibilities without committing to something. This I'm thinking like a wide, like a shot, overhead shot. I don't know. I kind of like a bike skidding. Maybe I'll wait next week. Does Sean want to try to jump on if you're still watching? See if the audio is better. Let me see Sean's Akira commission. Oh, okay. Whoa. That one's pretty sweet. A lot of explosions. How come this isn't popping up? All right. And the cities in the back. I'm not doing cities though. I'm not doing the building. I'm using the what do you mean, Courtney, to cover the screen? This is the pen tip I'm using is was created by Clayton Henry, so you can get it on his site. He has a gumdrop where you can just, I think it's like $1 or $2. It replicates. I've been using this on the monkey prints. It replicates a pretty good ink stroke. If you lower the opacity, it has kind of like a rough kind of feel, almost like a sketchiness. So I like to use this a lot when I'm inking, but then when I'm sketching, I'll kind of tone down the opacity so I get a little bit of kind of roughness to it, layering. When I'm inking, I'm using like around 38, the size of the pen, but right now it's at 100. So 38 is pretty thin. So Sean has one kind of lifting off of the ground. I'm going right to left. Does he ride the bike around a lot in the movie? I don't remember too much from the film. Is there I remember it being blown up, but again, I could be wrong. If it's blown up, then I could have a lot of it in silhouette, and it would look cool, and cut down on the amount of stuff to draw. Are people firing at him? I see Sean's has a gun. I do have a screen cover on the iPad. It's I've had this iPad for 3 years now. I think this is a Generation 3. They're on a Generation 6 iPad Pro now. I've had this since 2019. I've gone through two. This is my second screen. It's kind of worn out in the middle now, but I still use it. Also, this is my second nib, pen nib. So let me see if I do like make it vertical. The bike is so long that it's. Do they ever like? Sometimes when you have a dirt bike, Courtney would be good on this one too, because like where you're like turning the dirt bike, the handles up top, but does the Akira bike do that version, or because it's so long, I guess? The bike makes it to the end. Okay. Because it's almost like the bike can only be straight. It can never really like. How does he make like? Can he make like a 360-degree turn on the bike? And could he fly off of the bike? Like, what if he flew off the bike a little bit? Is that blasphemy? I don't know. Is that improper etiquette for bike riders? Only Sean can answer that question. Right? Would it be? I mean, of course, like visually, I think it's cool if the rider is somehow somewhat thrown off of his seat. And if the tire was like kind of turned a little bit. Now tires is man, this would be a great Sean stream. Sean, try to get back on Discord. tires, three-dimensional tires. Of course, I'm drawing an oval, not a perfect circle. On Procreate, you can actually draw a perfect circle. But you want to look at it like there's never, I never try to, I don't try to draw things always dead on. Because A, it's boring, and B, it doesn't show off the three-dimensionality of something. So if you have a circular kind of object like a tire, always try to give it a little bit of dimension. And it's actually fairly simple. If you have like this, let's say this is the tire. You're drawing the inside depending on how thick the tire is. Half of it is going to be in darkness or black, and the other half is in highlight and in shadow, and then the inside kind of rim, and then you might have another lip that would be receding inside. So if we were to do a diagram of the bike, of the tire, the rim would be here, and then it might come in, and if it's round, right, and there's a cap that kind of comes out, then you're going to recess it a little bit. Basically, you're drawing the same ovular circle, but you're just moving it in. You can move it. Oh, you guys can't see it. If you move it up, if you move it in, if you move it out, now it's optical illusion, right? Wherever you put the center, this thing here, kind of helps formulate. I just like to repeat the if it's dark up here, it's light, it's dark down here, and then you do the same thing, reverse it, and there's always like a little lip, and then you can add in the tread. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the bike treads the racing bike ones should be not as tready, right? They want to have as much of the rubber hitting the ground. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm just asking. But the tread itself can also, again, if you're doing it directionally, it helps give a little bit more dynamic feel. So let's see. It's got a pretty flat hubcap. And it looks like I'm going off of Sean's. Sean's has them kind of standing up on top of the but I want my guy almost like a MotoGP, where they're not MotoGP, like a dirt bike, right? Where he's almost flying completely off of the like he's losing control of the bike. Right? Don't the dirt bikers do that when they're going over a hill? They're like, maybe like, not like the dirt bikers, sorry, like the X Games dudes. Let me bring this leg. If I'm going to have one straight leg, I'm going to have this other leg. Let's see the bottom of his foot. What's up, butthead? Butthead's right here. Ow. I'm hoping Sean's Akira bike is accurate in terms of referencing. And if you guys want, I can probably upload this onto the Discord later. So again, I'm kind of just sketching it out. So it looks like this might be a vertical piece. Looks like he's jumping over a bike that just got blown up. Yeah, I mean, does that happen in the movie? Like, is there a chase sequence where I'm probably speaking blasphemy right now. Adding in the speed lines will help kind of accentuate a lot of the motion or action going on. Some kind of explosion. And then what I think the ground should be opposite. I know there's a lot of like highway. I could, I guess, put like a silhouette of some Neo-Tokyo buildings. And that would help kind of, again, with storytelling. These kind of drawings too, I wanna give a sense of like, holy cow, how does he ever get out of this kind of situation? Yeah, I think I want to have one leg, at least one leg attached to the bike, just so he isn't completely maybe in the background, like another bike is blowing up. Poop Man is here. What's up, Poop Kid? Bale Batman was able to do a 180-degree turn. Okay, let me see. Akira bike chase. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Akira bike chase. Interesting thing with the tail lights. I mean, my favorite bike was the Scott Bernard bike from Robotech 3. Where's where the bike itself transforms into a battle suit. Oh, so there's another red bike. Okay. All right. Are those good guys or are those bad guys? wonder what the bike would have looked like if they ever made the Akira movie. Now, I mean, again, I'm going to have to redraw this on the paper. But I like doing this because it gives me an opportunity to kind of play with different poses. When I draw it on the paper, of course, it's going to be another level of editing and correcting on my part. So I'm actually going to be drawing this, multiple times at the end of the day when all things are said and done. At a convention, I probably wouldn't do this. I would just sketch out something on a piece of paper really quickly just to get my ideas down before I went on the actual board. But since this one's at home, is there a scene where he gets, they're being attacked on the bike, or are they just being chased on the bike? There are some bad guys. That's kind of cool with the, I think they're bad guys. Psycho Drive-In. Bike chase battle. Let's see the comics. I mean, the comics was like amazingly drawn. A lot of it I remember. Especially the city scenes. That's like a little moped. I mean, the thing with manga is there's a lot of these speed lines. And it's really a lot of the speed lines. It's like ketchup. Beef, you should read the book. It's a really well-drawn book. The amount of details, line work, the camera angles that they use. To Chang. By the way, anybody see Chang Can Dunk on Disney Plus? Here's a scene. It's interesting. Shot. Did you guys notice the lead character's name? A few people have DM'd me. It's kind of funny. So they can fit 2 people on the Akira bike. Why did the get this one? Yeah, there's a lot of speed lines. I mean, a lot of it is, I think, to cover up backgrounds, but to also accentuate action, emotion, and dynamic. That's true. That's right, Jerry. I don't have Disney Plus, but that's what people have been texting me. I don't know the director, and I don't know anybody else, but I'm curious how the writer or the director came up with Bernard. And Liefeld's son is in it too. Rob Liefeld's son plays the antagonist, is it? I cannot dunk, but I've had dreams of dunking. If you believe it or not, I've had dreams where I'm dunking. So, all right, I think I'm gonna, and I'm actually gonna curve the ground, the highway that they're racing on. I'm gonna put this girl on the little moped. It's cute. It's a cute one. She'll be okay. She's not hurt. And then some. Nice explosion. I wonder, is there any kind of promotion I can do to leverage that Bernard can dunk? I think it would be funny. All right, I think, what do you guys think about this? Let's go with this. I'm kind of happy with it. I'm going to share this as a JPEG and airdrop it onto my desktop. Airdropping's been a pain in the butt too. Okay, there it is. Just heard it. All right. Let me get a piece of paper. Just start penciling it out onto the board. So, I've had dreams of dunking. It's kind of weird, but I'm going to reuse this. I'm going to reuse this piece of paper here. Give me a sec. Let me open up. Dr. Midnight. I use an Apple computer. Let me see here. You guys can see this is my iMac right here, and on top of in front of my drawing desk. I mean, this is my light box, and then right in front of me I have my iMac. It's iMac 27. So usually I'll be pulling up the references that I have on this screen. Let's see, open up. Let's see, downloads. I think it's called Untitled. I haven't titled it yet. Here we go, Untitled 4. Okay, so I usually have this up on the computer. I don't know if you guys can see that. All right. And then I just reference it back and forth. Because I'm drawing this on the back of the board first. Wow, I'm actually doing it. This is the full style. I'm going to flip it on the computer. And then this is sometimes when I draw covers, I draw the covers like 2 or 3 times. And so I have like all these kind of penciled out. This paper I think I actually drew a Winterman on here first. You can kind of see like a Winterman back here, and then the monkey prints. like it's a lucky piece, lucky page. Let's see. Let's sketch this out. So I usually have the sketch out in front of me. So I like to look at the sketch as I'm drawing. Use it as a point of reference, really, to kind of gauge it out. Let me just pull this back up a little bit. You guys can see a little bit more. Draw out the major. Major components. Let's see if I can. I'm not going to be able to finish the sketch tonight, but just want to get started on it so you guys can kind of get a sense of the process. Gonna have one guy when I do this is also the same process that I use for if I'm drawing a comic book page. Again, doing the layouts digitally, and then it's on autofocus. I'll go through this same process on regular comic book pages and covers. It's a very long process, but I find it helps me produce the best work. It allows me. I have about three or four layers of editing, self-editing, and you know, a lot of times I remember when I was first starting out, I'm rushing to get to the actual drawing because I'm so excited about drawing. What you find is that at times, if you're, I don't want to dampen that enthusiasm for drawing. But at the same time, you can actually hurt yourself in terms of not producing the best work by rushing too much, because you're so eager to draw the piece without properly kind of figuring out what's the best layout, what's the best foundation for the drawing. If you get too locked into. By the way, Sean, the rear tire should be thicker than the front tire, right? I'm assuming the rear tire is the same size, not width, but the same, I guess, rim size as the front. But usually the rear tires are, I think, a little bit thicker. Make sure I have enough room for usually this is a light box, so again the red lines you can see I've already kind of accommodated for the cropping. The big fear here is sometimes you lose a little bit of the spontaneity when you're going so much from digital to traditional. this process can take up to about an hour or so. For me at least, of just trying to sketch in on the back of the board. Again, this is also all on the back of the paper. Now, I'm not trying to get a one-to-one of what I had sketched out, but I'm trying to capture a little bit of, try to capture as much of the essence of the piece that I can. Not jump around, just so I don't stay bored. Let me pull up another reference for the bike. Here is here's another. This is actually a pretty good one. If this is the actual diagram, let me see. So if this is the actual diagram of the bike, I want the front wheel to be kind of slightly turned so it's not, again, at the same angle. I have the rim, so we're almost still looking at the bottom. Again, like he's basically exploding over us. It looks like about a third of the bike is covered by the whatever thing we want to call this. And it's not it's a weird angle too. So his hand is right above this area here. It gets smaller. The front is a little bit open, lipped. It's going to be recessed. So this looks like it's a flat where he puts the feet. It's almost like he's sitting down on a recliner or something. There's two parts to the bend. This may be the last Akira bike commission I'll take, ever. It flattens out, but then it comes back. And then there's a circular. So this portion of the bike is going to be stationary, or same. Using this as kind of a marker for the middle of the bike. There's a smaller based on perspective, again, this is going to be, everything's kind of hyper-sensualized or hyper-visualized. Just going to protrude out a little bit more, the headrest. I'm going to make the rear tire a little bit thicker. I think it looks cooler that way. Let's see, this is kind of circular. I'm doing all of my rough on the back of the board, and I'm doing this in reverse. So that when I go into the front, I can actually just be fairly simple and clean. And straightforward. Drawing cars and vehicles is very difficult, especially in a dynamic kind of pose. Everything's going away at a vanishing point, but it's also going away at a vanishing point that isn't exactly as consistent as what, you know, a straight dead-on shot, because we're trying to get basically this bike to be like thrown off. This thing does stick out. What is this armature that comes out towards the back? Let's just get this line first. Right here, it comes out. There's a lip, and then this actually goes back a little bit. But so the seat kind of, the shoulder parts kind of, what is that? Fold back a little bit, go in before the headrest. So we might not even see the top of that, depending on how, on this angle itself. And it looks like this thing kind of hits right at the lip of the rim. And it's dimensional. And we have the hubcap, wheel cap. It's interesting how I think older futuristic vehicles all have these flat hubcaps. But if you look at any of the modern day vehicles, the hubcaps are all receded with intricate kind of design. Should be slightly going backwards. Yeah, this is definitely the last Akira bike commission. And I don't think I charged enough. I want to do a trail off of the bike. forgot where I saw this, but I always thought it looked cool. You saw a trail. But I want to make sure this looks consistent. Akira is the name of the bike? Or you're just playing around? Golf boy. And is it okay if this scene doesn't actually happen in the movie? I think I got the seat compartment pretty much worked out. It's going to be a little bit flatter. I think this is going to taper in a little bit. Sometimes I actually look back at the screen, and the screen will give me a little bit of a better, looking at it from a different angle, I can kind of see a little bit quicker, faster, what I might have done incorrectly. This looks like a nub that sticks out. The footrest. Let's see, the seat comes up around here. But because of the perspective, we're not going to really see it. It's going to be hidden underneath this metal piece. Does this? Nope. Okay. This comes down. This connects in. All right. I think I got it down pretty good. There's some rivets, rivet, and another rivet around here somewhere. Let me look at the front POV. This thing kind of collapses in, but it actually sticks out a lot. Okay, well. I'm going to start this. If this was the circle hubcap, it's a little further back. It kicks in. This is going to be right at the hubcap. And so I'm going to just come straight back. This is going to curl around. So if we were to draw the other side of the tire, that would be around here. Of course, it gives it a little bit of a lip, a little bit of a thickness. This thing comes up, so it's like a dome. Be a little bit more protruded. And of course, where it attaches is going to have to conform to the shape. Damn, midnight already. We spent a third of the stream with technical difficulties. Yo, Jimbo, this is just like the old days, huh? Just you and me. And all we're missing is El Capone. Or was there something? Was Crispy Papa there in the beginning too? Let's see this one. Okay, this is going to be kind of weird. It's going to be kind of difficult with the glass portion. I don't want to go too far back. I might have to move this whole figure out. Am I capturing? Let me go back, continue to go back. I'm going to refresh back. Okay. Kind of missing this thing here. I've drawn it too far down, even though I'm following the reference. I want to see if I can capture that again. Get too caught up in the reference. But I want to stay true to the original sketch, but also I don't have to go one-to-one again with the original sketch, but I want to make sure that I'm still capturing. Again, if you get too caught up in the details, you can get the handlebars are right around where this glass meets the this is kind of a curved that's the inside of the glass. So if his hands are out here, I want to make sure his arms should be also in kind of a perspective, right? Because he's kind of going away from us. And I do want to see his face, even though in real life his face would probably be trying to keep his head as low as possible. But I want to be able to see his face. And then I'm kind of thinking about his rib cage. His torso should be kind of fallen back. Might be a little bit big. If you're watching for the first time, make sure you hit the that follow button. This is usually we usually stream on Tuesdays, but since yesterday we were at the Shazam world premiere. I'm gonna do a makeup stream today. Do I do screen tones? What do you mean, like shade and shadow? That I do too. Also, you can do that on the back. Once you're done right now, again, I'm just working on the fundamentals of the drawing. This is probably some of the most frustrating for an artist, especially myself. You're trying to figure out what it is. Sometimes I see the piece already, but even what you see in your head, once you put it down, it might not be as cool as it was in your head, if that makes sense. So I want to get a little bit of a twist in his body. So I'm thinking maybe we see the front of his leg a little bit more. Usually it's a multi-person stream. We have a lot of co-hosts, but today we're having a lot of technical difficulties. I've been experiencing some problems with my router the last few days, so I'm hoping that is the root of the problem, and I can get that solved before next week's stream, so we can have our lovely co-host back on. What's this line here? Okay. Further up. So this is a commission piece. Yeah. Sometimes, like, again, if I'm drawing, sometimes I see the picture right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of exploring. Sometimes you're battling with what is reality or what is possible. But then sometimes too, you have to balance what is kind of technically possible, but then also sometimes you have to exaggerate a little bit to make it as dynamic as possible. That's the magic component of comic books, because you're trying to capture movement and motion, but with a single image. He has, I want to have a little bit of an upshot, just so I can see his mouth. If I have a down shot, his mouth will be covered by his arms. And then he's wearing goggles, right? Give him kind of an anime, cartoony mouth. That's something that I usually tell people don't do. Don't get too locked into details of the face. It's always, see, I'm guilty of that, right? You start drawing the face, we're all humans, we all want to draw the face because that's what we're, makes us feel good. And if you get too locked into, oh, I really like that smile, I really like that mouth, then sometimes you're cheating yourself from perhaps what could be a better pose. So try not to get too detailed, especially in this stage. Tatsuya, this is the guy. Wait, who was this guy's name again? he is, you know, a lot of times people, even now, again, I still do it. I draw the face, I get attached to the face, and then I'm like, oh, I don't want to change it. You get attached to the face, you cheat yourself out of possibly a better drawing. But it is only a human aspect that you want to draw the face first. So you have to fight it. You have to fight that urge. This still looks a little weird. I mean, again, his head should be down. Should be like... See, if I bring his shoulders up, it's not going to look right. If you can draw it once, you can draw it twice. Having that head there was just too distracting. I was like too looking at that head, at the face, thinking, oh, I really like that mouth. Shoulders should be back a little bit, yeah. Head back a little bit. And when I'm done with this stage, usually it's like, oh, a big relief. I spend most of the time here so that when I get into the front of the page and I'm drawing, I'm starting inking, I don't have any questions. And I can just breeze through it. Here's an interesting twist. Now I've pushed his leg back. You can see the original sketch. I push the leg back. I don't know if Sean is still here. Is there anything that would a competent bike rider would say that would never happen? I'm hiding his other arm underneath. I think I want to bring his leg up. And I'm trying to keep his right leg separate from the bike. I don't want it to connect. Part of that is just to, again, create some distance and dynamic. See, if his foot is back, he's more in control, right? Like he's gliding. But if his foot is in front and his leg is in front, I think that's a little bit more dynamic. Does this jacket ever open when he's riding, or is it always like tucked in, zipped up? I mean, a proper motorcyclist would have everything would be zipped up, right? Because that's the whole point of wearing leather, is the leather protects you when you fall onto the concrete. Right, Sean? I think. had the other leg in silhouette, but what if it was also... I don't know. A lot of times too, I think when you're starting, you tend to draw the outside of the body, and I always try to, if you look at a lot of the pro artists draw, they do maybe start with the outside, but I think that's also because there's been many, many years of training. At least when I started as a student, I was taught to draw the inside out. So, so I'm already looking at the form from an inside, basically the inside bone, and then you're drawing outwards. I think that is a very important vital key, especially if you find that your work or your drawings or figures are kind of stiff. You want to be able to draw from the inside out, formulate the bodies that way. Here I am getting to the face again. Oh, I got it. Let's see. They have created wearable body airbags. Yes, I've seen that. Also for seniors, like senior citizens, like walking. If you fall over, it'll like create a... Hey. Butthead was biting a piece of the drawing. Here I'm kind of drawing the other foot, but you know, it's going to be hidden by the bike, so but that's fine. You know, trying to make as many mistakes as you can on the back, so that when you come up to the front of the board to do the actual inks, and the tighter pencils, there's less guessing. I wonder if after this I should do the Kang. I really got to get started on something else. I'm not going to finish this tonight. I'll probably finish this next week. The other arm is hidden. It's going to be about right there. Let me check out his costume. Akira. Outfit. Akira outfit. Okay. Looks like the goggles are kind of aviator goggles, almost like an airman. Let me see if I can find like a clothing one sheet. Right now, there's a lot of cosplay. Anime. Okay. So it's kind of shoulder baggy. This is what, 80s? Short. Want to try to have the jacket puff out. Kaneda. Does anybody actually have this as a cosplay outfit? His right hand has a glove, but his left hand, again, we're drawing this in reverse. His left hand is rolled up. And then it's not uniform. There's 3 of these clips. It's like little knee patches. And then he has these boots. Boots look like they have like a little flap. Boots. I sometimes have a thing where I draw the shins too long in my characters a lot. I think that's because secretly I wish I had taller shins, which means I would have been taller in real life. Not that I have short shins. I think I have proportionally adequate shins. I just noticed that with a lot of basketball players, pro athletes, they actually have really long shins. And let's see. What are his boots? Any details on his boots? Kaneda outfit. Oh, okay, let me see his drawings. Oh, it's kind of have an old school heel. So the outsole is kind of like those clicked heels, nothing like a traditional kind of shoe. Nothing, I guess some people draw this a little bit thicker, or at least this drawing is a little thicker. And then his aviator goggles, rounded on the bottom. Anime tend to have these lips that are like, "Arr." Anything else? He has a, what's this thing that he carries on? Is that a colostomy bag? that he carries on his hip. What's with the gun? Does he always have the gun? Anybody have any insights on the gun? Hey, what's up, Butthead? Alright, Butthead wants to go to sleep. So, I think we should be done. We're good enough. We've been 2.5 hours? 2 hours, yeah. It's a good stream. Ribbing. Collar. Alright. Got this pretty much where I would usually take the roughs at this point. Now comes the big reveal, another moment of frustration. We've worked on this for, what, an hour? Time to turn it around and see where we've effed up. Time to turn it around and see where we effed up. Now this is the magic of a light box. Once you turn it around, you can see. Alright, right away, this wheel, this tire, it's kind of a funky circle. It's not, there, see, right here, missing this loop. It's a little too squat, too short. All the pencil pressure should be very, very light at this point still. I'm using a 2H lead. I don't want to be drawing very, very hard pressure or very, very dark at this point. I'm still in a prelim stage. And I want to be able to erase and redraw without damaging the paper or compromising the paper later on for inks. The body seems okay. The rest of the bike seems okay. Okay, buddy, we're gonna go to sleep soon. Somebody wants to go to sleep. I think I'll have my building over here. I can kind of see. Again, at the angle where you're sitting at, very influential. What I also like to do is after I get through this stage, this rough stage, so now I can erase the back, and in the back, follow the line that I had in the front, which should be the more accurate line. Now, usually at this stage, I'll put this page down and give it another half a day minimum before I come back to work on it. So sometimes also looking at the tire upside down will help. Any kind of circular things. If you're looking at it from a different perspective or different angle from where you're sitting, it helps. This tire. I'm not using any French curves. I'm not using any compasses or any other templates. All freehand. I like to draw everything freehand. It gives it a bit more organic feel. but you also have to be careful because there are greater risks of inconsistency and deficiencies in terms of when you're lining things up for perspective purposes, why it doesn't look right, quote unquote looks right. But I think this should look right. Oh, this looks a little weird. I'm drawing it all the way through. Right here is a little bit of a bump. Kind of see that it's a little, sticks out a little bit too far over here. This brush too, that I used to wipe the eraser shavings away. Amazing. Probably one of the best tools I've ever bought. I can see the line underneath come through. And I think I kind of got it fixed. Now, the reason for putting this drawing down and coming back to it later is you have some fresh eyes. You're going to look at some other things, and then when you come back, you're going to be able to maybe pick out some mistakes that you might have made. Very rarely do I sit down and finish a drawing in one sitting. Again, this just gives me another layer of editing. The tire is kind of roundish, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Yeah, these brushes are, especially there's a long one, so you basically use one swoop, you get the whole page. I mean, you can use any brush, doesn't matter, but cleans it all out. So this is what it should look like. You can kind of see the lines coming through later on. I will, at this point, before I ink, depending on the amount of time I have left, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to wait until I'm 100% okay with the back drawing. But I will go back in with a 003. Sorry, this is a light, a very thin 003 to kind of pick one or two lines before I ink. I can see right here, there's a little bit of a... Alright, so stay tuned. Next week we'll try to finish this. Anybody have any more questions? Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I appreciate everybody following along. Professor Racco just followed. Catch you guys next Tuesday. Enjoy your weekend. Happy holidays. Let me see. Where should we stream? Who should we? I mean, raid. We should raid somebody. Anybody on? Amarath. Coquette. Coquette. Oh, she. I think she used to draw comics, or she still does. Let's raid Coquette. Go Lions, Kevin P. West. Crispy Papa, thank you for helping out. Good to see everybody. Let's see, are we ready to raid? She was last drawing Legend of Korra, that's right. Okay, let's raid now. Happy holidays. Oh, I still can't, I gotta wait. Hey, B-Dub. Can we raid now, or I gotta wait for this thing to go?